Yeah, and episode is what again?
29?
Episode 69.
I can't wait for episode 69. What are we going to do for a topic for that one?
The sexiest Mario characters.
The sexiest Mario with the best render.
Yeah.
No, clearly it's Super Mario Odyssey Mario. That was the first time Mario got nipples.
Number 2, Mario 64. He just looks so chunky. He's dummy thick.
All right, episode 29, right?
All right.
Yeah,
That's
an
episode
intro.
69. This is,
Yeah, that was a forecast,
A
Grant.
teaser.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Minus Cast, episode 29. We're 40 off of 69, but we're talking about Among Us today, and more so the landscape of YouTube. You know, we haven't talked about YouTube-specific stuff in a while, so I think we might as well now. How's everyone doing? 6 months, 5 months into the pandemic? 6 months?
Time is an illusion.
Time is a
I think it's like
construct.
9 months. Wasn't it like March?
know,
yeah.
It
wasn't
like-
like 2 years ago.
The
We're like
first
almost a year
lockdown
in.
started like as soon as we got back from PAX East. So that
Yeah,
was
like
the very
immediately
beginning of March. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah,
it's
I
like
don't know.
a year in.
Yeah,
A while.
yeah, 9 months. My construct of time is gone. What
Yeah.
day is it? What year?
it's weird because honestly, like, yeah, I mean, the pandemic, I think it's kind of affected all of us in a lot of different ways. For me, it wasn't super great because, you know, for most of the time, you know, I've been pretty isolated from everybody. But now that I've moved, things have been a lot better because I am a lot closer to friends now, which is good, a little bit closer to family. But as soon as I moved, it's just like everything on the YouTube end just decided to take a drop kick in the face, which is what we're going to kind of get into why we think it might be happening. But
Yeah. So for those of you watching, you may not sort of. We'll try to like make this make sense, I suppose,
Yeah.
because for us, you know, we're constantly making videos. We're constantly looking at how stuff's performing, just so we understand kind of basically our future. So when YouTube just kind of like I don't know, throws you a curveball, especially like a curveball like this, a lot of us have. In terms of like we upload a video, typically it reaches a certain amount of people who subscribe or just follow us online. But recently it's been like abysmal. Like YouTube basically it almost seems like we'll put a video out for the first 2 hours. We're like, okay, cool, people are tuning in. And then YouTube turns off the power on the video. From your perspective, that may not be the case, but from ours, it's just been something we've been watching and trying to figure out in terms of why is this happening? And the more and more we talk with other creators, we realize that everyone's sort of suffering, or not everyone, but in our sphere, everyone's sort of having the same issues. But up until now, people really haven't been communicating about it.
Yeah, so that's kind of why we bring it up. And yeah, like you said, like it's happening to a lot of people. Like there's a couple of outliers. Like the only creator I can think of that's kind of within our sphere that's doing super well is Scott the Wise. He's still doing fine, and Small Ant, who's blown up like crazy on YouTube specifically. But everyone else has taken large hits. So you have to try to find the balance. Is it your fault or is it something on YouTube's end? And we think for me personally, I think it is partially my fault for maybe not making videos that are, you know, super topical, but it might also be Among Us.
There's a Chungus Among Us. And it's YouTube's It's YouTube's
Is that a meme that the
recommendation
kids
system.
use these days? Did I do it right?
You did.
Emergency
Yes.
meeting.
That's what this is. It's an emergency
This is-
meeting.
Yeah.
We're gonna vote off. Obviously, Among Us kind of emerged this year. You know, it's been out for 2 years, but it just kind of came out of the shadows, snuck out of a vent,
Yeah.
put a round in the back of Fall Guys, and then went back into the vent after it killed Fall Guys.
All these analogies.
But yeah, but honestly, it's like it's been very interesting because, you know, being in this pandemic environment, we're all inside. We're obviously all watching a lot of YouTube and Twitch. Even us as content creators, we're always watching this stuff. And Among Us is interesting. I mean, we had so much fun playing just Mafia at E3. It was like probably one of my highlights when we would all get together and we played Mafia.
Everyone except me like that game.
Nathan's like, nah.
We don't talk about that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You like, didn't you like miss? I remember now.
I didn't understand what was happening. I don't know what happened that night.
Good
Yeah.
times.
I think quick story. Nathan was supposed in Mafia. Everyone puts their heads down. The people who are in cahoots with each other, who are able to kill people, are part of the Mafia, get to see who the other Mafia members are. And I think Nathan didn't realize he was Mafia. Correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't realize you were Mafia, but
I just didn't get the rules. Honestly,
Okay.
I was just being stupid. I had no idea what was going on.
Simple Flips and I were Mafia. I think Nathan was one of the other roles. And I think he
Doctor?
like
I can't even remember.
or the
one of them, and like he tipped someone off saying that Simple was for sure not the imposter or whatever.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember just looking at Simple, I'm like, I was like, wait a second. And then we won the game because like pretty much Nathan cleared him by accident, obviously, because I guess he didn't understand that part. But then we pretty much won the game because no one suspected him because Nathan like cleared his name or whatever.
That's what it was.
true,
Was
yeah.
that Nathan was the hunter
Something
or
like
whoever could like see who was the Mafia. I guess I'm thinking of werewolf, but that he pointed at somebody. I think whoever was hosting it gave a thumbs up, like yes, they are part of the Mafia.
The detective.
And you thought that
yeah.
meant like, yeah, they're good. Don't worry about that.
That's what.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a blast. So when you have a digital form of this, obviously, in a time period where we're also deprived of social encounters, it's cool though. Just pop on and watch people play. 10 of your favorite creators or whatever, just trying to one up each other and fool each other. But it's kind of interesting how it's sort of popped off. So like, I'm gonna be rambling for a bit on this because I gotta set the stage for the podcast a bit. But
Go for it.
when Fortnite popped off, lots of people were obviously playing it, right? But when people were playing Fortnite, they were typically only, in a video. If you watch a Fortnite video, you would know one or two other people in the video, maybe. When you watch Among Us, there's like, you might know 2 or 3 people, but there's like 7 other new people that you may not know online. So you watch the video, you find it entertaining, and what do? You go and you search for that person. You watch maybe 1 or 2 of their videos to see what they're about. How do they know this person? How do they know one of my favorite creators or something? And the theory goes as this. Basically, YouTube's recommendations are sort of being changed by everyone's behaviors and how they're seeking out new content. I mean, so it's not a bad thing to some degree. Obviously, for us, it's impacting us. It does give newer people or people that you may not know about the spotlight, which is a good thing. Always discovering new other creators out there is cool. But I think Among Us has this effect where it's sort of keeping it all specific to Among Us and the people who are being discovered through there. So going back to when you search out that channel, you typically search out the name. Maybe you watch 1 or 2 of their videos, right? Rinse and repeat. You do that for 2 or 3 channels. I think, and this is just my theory on it, YouTube keeps track of how many different channels that you actually like. And a lot of times they'll pop up in the sidebar. I could not be subscribed to people, but I'll still find their videos in the sidebar because I've watched them in the past or sought them out. Well, with this new influx of creators being searched for, because of how Among Us works, you want to see the other side of that story, or you want to see a different perspective on, well, how do these people die in this specific room? There's basically a reason to go check out these other creators for personal personality, but also the rest of the story. And I'm thinking it's pushing out or basically rewriting people's recommendations in terms of what they watched in the past, because YouTube only keeps track of, 10 or 12 different specific channels or so that it kind of kicks up on the sidebar. So with that in play, I think, at least from my perspective, because I started seeing the dip in viewership probably about a month and a half ago, and I started thinking about how people are watching videos in this current environment and what they are watching, and I think that's what's kind of happening. And it could be that Nintendo hasn't really put out super interesting games or like milestone games this year. I think the last one was Animal Crossing, but even then, that's not really like a group social thing. I don't
think that really makes a difference because, my channel was doing fine last year. It was doing
fair,
fine until
yeah.
Among Us started to pop off, like 2 months ago. That's when the change really started to happen. So, I guess something to go off of as to why we might think this theory has some sort of validity is Just as one example, my most viewed video generally brings in around 300,000 to 400,000 views a month. In November, it brought in 150,000 views. It just completely dropped for no reason. And this has happened on quite a few videos where, I guess, like the legacy stuff from like either a few months ago or a couple of years ago, they have pretty consistent viewership every month. They drop 40-50%. So I think that might be affecting my channel to some extent. And I'm assuming probably a lot of ours or all of our channels.
Yeah.
Anyone that basically isn't playing Among Us with other people.
And I think, Tetra, you mentioned something, well, previously to this podcast about longer watch times and things like that too. I think we were talking about, because I was testing the waters. I was like, okay, I'll put out an Among Us mystery video that I haven't seen anyone talk about online, right? Now, mind you, I haven't covered a non-Nintendo game in quite a while. It's been a few years, but I was like, okay, let's see how this does. I'll figure, people like it, they'll let me know. And I just remember watching it pop off, and then just like it's almost like someone was in a hospital bed with that machine hooked up to them, the beep, beep, and it died within 2 hours. It flatlined, and I was like, that's never happened before. And then I realized it was happening with my other content too. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure, because the views have to be going somewhere, right? And it sounds weird because we're talking amongst ourselves, but like obviously there's people watching who just consume YouTube and watch content and stuff like that. But
they're not paying attention to it necessarily,
right? And you don't have to.
You don't need
but
to.
It's interesting though, because I'm like, well, the views have to. People aren't just watching YouTube less. That people are watching more now than ever. So. But then I look at these Among Us videos and I was like, yeah, that video has 20 million views. So it's almost like it's creating this funnel that keeps all the top Among Us creators sort of basically at the top, but it's actually having a more polarizing effect than Fortnite or any other monumental game that popped off in the past. At least that's my take on it anyways.
Sure. Now, I don't disagree with any of that, but I just want to, I guess, kind of play devil's advocate. And again, like Nathan said, take a look at the channels that are, even in this climate, are doing still super well, like Point Grow, Small Ant, Doug, Simply, even Cheese. I think Cheese started like doing a lot more YouTube content. I've seen his content kind of pop off as well. So I don't know. There has to be some sort of validity to how that's working, and that's complete step away from Among Us. I don't think it has any relation. So I'm just trying to, for the past couple weeks, I've been trying to figure out why certain content is still able to, I don't know. Again, I don't know how much of that is based from recommendations versus just organic growth from subscribers coming back and watching. But I mean, again, my theory used to be that it's just like more frequent, long videos with long retention time is the key. Which is really hard, like trifecta to pull off. That's like, yeah. But that's kind of my working theory right now. I'm not sure. Again, obviously none of us have access to other channel stats. We don't know how that looks. But if we could, that'd be really cool. I would just love to see like just to see how much of these channels that are still popping off in like the Nintendo sphere are, how much of it is still recommendations versus how much of it is, I guess, natural organic subs just coming back to watch and stuff.
Yeah, I almost have to wonder if like I was just gonna say, I almost have to wonder. I'll just go back to like Waz and Small Ant, if they're just kind of like in their own category, because like Scott just uploads whatever he feels like, and he gets like 500,000 views. It could be literally anything, because like people watch for him, and I think Small Ant is also starting to get into that category as well, because I mean he uploads a lot of weird stuff sometimes. Like he did like pencil sharpening speedruns. That's his most watched video. I watched it the other day. It's actually really funny, but yeah, so I don't know if like we're necessarily in the same boat as them, because I know like there's, when it comes to how you run a channel, there's personality based channels, and then there's, I guess, like recommended based. I don't know how else you'd really
informational based. I mean, yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess like informational based, where it's more just about the content of the video than the person. So I know we kind of veer towards more that. So maybe, I don't know if we can even consider them like a part of the issue that we're having, but It's hard to say.
Well, then I guess the issue with that is then like you live by the recommended, you die by the recommended. So
Yeah.
I guess you gotta
that's a
kind of
problem. Well, I've
Yeah.
been trying to be a personality-based channel for a while, but it's very, very, very hard to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I think a lot of like my backlog of content, when someone finds it and can sink their teeth into it, like there's a lot of, I think, at least from my perspective, I think there's a lot of enjoyable stuff there. And I think the place I noticed the biggest drop off was immediately anything that was like legacy content from 5 months back and past. It just all like, it's almost like YouTube severed it, and like no one can find it anymore, or it's not being recommended like it was. So it's just interesting how the game has changed, I guess. And who knows, maybe a month out from now, it's more so just, if that did happen, maybe it's just, you have to put more content out, or it will recover as time goes on. It's just very interesting to see it happening now, to my knowledge. And then I've a month and a half out, like I have not seen something like this happen before for this long anyways. Normally it's like it happens and it's like, it gets resolved in a week, or so I'm just really curious to see how long this lasts, and if the rise and fall of Among Us, when it does happen, if it does play a factor in sort of a restoration to this.
I mean, I do kind of feel like Among Us, it's not, I don't want to say it's dying, but I definitely feel like its popularity is waning.
Yeah.
Waning.
I mean, it has
It's a funny
3
word.
maps. Like there's no content in the game. Well, there's very, very little. So like it is very fun in groups. I mean, we've been playing it for Minus World. So that's always a good time.
I just feel like I'm seeing less memes. I feel like I'm like overall I'm seeing less videos of it. Like I guess recommended to me at least on YouTube. Not that I ever really watched much Among Us videos in the first place, but I guess I'm just starting to see it less and less. Still, I think it's probably still the most popular game, but it is, I guess, slowly fading, or for better or for worse.
I mean, I really don't see it surviving for probably not longer than a few more months, because like they're just not adding enough. Like, I know they're going to add like 1 new map. I think that's what I've seen for updates. That's not going to be nearly enough for it to survive. Fortnite survived for forever, and I would still say it is kind of a pretty good game to like make videos on, because they're always releasing new stuff for that game. But yeah, I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I think Inner Sloth, I think they only have like 3 employees working for them too.
Oh my!
It's a really small operation.
They gotta get some more employees.
I don't know if they've since probably onboarded more people, but it is also like a very, very different development environment than I guess Epic Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Yeah.
I'd be curious to know about if there's any people watching and or listening that have like a quote unquote smaller channel. Like if you guys have experienced anything similar to this, like if you've maybe seen some growth in the past couple months and you've kind of just seen it slow down with your videos in the past couple weeks, that'd be another interesting thing to see if it's affecting even smaller channels.
Yeah.
And to what extent, I guess.
I haven't.
Because it's pretty hard to grow on YouTube as it is, for sure. Like it's definitely not easy. But be interesting to see if that's affecting anything too.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really talked to any smaller channels about it, because I mean, I would say all of us are like mid-tier sized. So I don't know what the other perspectives are like.
Any thoughts of Drew?
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for Drew to say something.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like I hadn't heard about this issue really until we started talking about it like an hour ago, and because like I took sort of like an unannounced extended YouTube break where I've been uploading much less this year. We're trying to ramp it up now, but like so I have I guess mine's the outlier, but like I didn't publish anything in October, so maybe that's why I've got a different situation with my analytics. But I just went back and looked and was comparing my November to October, and the views are up 10%. So that at least I don't know. This might be simulating a smaller channel with my upload schedule, but I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because I've kind of got the outlier. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if the popularity of Among Us has changed the way that the gaming YouTube sector has started to train the black box to route people in different ways to different channels. I don't know.
It really encourages like collaboration, which that is also very difficult to do. Like it's super
well right now.
Yeah, well, because we're in a pandemic, but also the fact like if you're a small channel, I mean, good luck trying to collab with people that have like 1 million subs. Like it's very, very difficult to collab with people that are already established. So Yeah, that is also very tricky because I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, is this just gonna be a thing like in the future where like you have to collab with people all the time? Kind of like what we used to do for the 10v1 videos a few years ago.
Gonna have to revive the 10v1 series.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know. I'd say it would always be helpful to collab with people. I don't know if it'll ever be a thing where you have to.
Well, if there's like more of an emphasis on I mean, because I mean, obviously, everyone that's making Among Us videos, it's benefited them like hugely. So,
well, I think
here's gonna be. I want to give an old man pitch. Okay, here's what we need to do. We all need to change and become the Ship YouTubers. We have to go play the game The Ship on Steam. If you've never seen it, I'm sure I've told you guys about it way too many times. It's a game that I can't play with anybody because nobody will play with me, and the online servers are down. So there's no servers I can connect to. We need to play The Ship. It's like Among Us, but a Half-Life 2 mod ships from 2007 or something, where you're on like a 1920s era ship, like a yacht cruise, and you have to go through it, like find people and introduce yourself and try to murder somebody without being caught. It's a lot of fun.
I think they remastered it, right?
They did, but the remastered version is like it's by a different company that bought the rights to it, and it doesn't have all the content that the original did. So the original, I feel like, is still a lot better. But
so Gmod
let's play the Ship.
Is the answer.
Let's do it. Let's do it on Minus
back
World.
Gmod.
I'll host a Ship party on Minus World if you guys will play it.
Let's do it.
Why not?
Return to tradition. What's the reject modernity, embrace tradition?
Climb aboard the ship. So yeah, any other final thoughts on like? It's a very YouTube specific podcast, but
let us know in the comments if you understood anything we said in this podcast.
Yeah.
If it's just us talking about stuff you have no idea of what we're saying.
I feel like we were pretty clear.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm also probably a little bit biased, so I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah, I guess I should make it clear that I don't think any of us have anything against Among Us. It's a fun game. It's been a good time.
I like it.
We've been playing it together, and it's a cool phenomenon. So I don't know. Try it out, maybe.
Yeah, I think honestly it's an amazing game, and it came to life at the right moment for when a lot of people needed it. And I think everything we said today, even too, like take it all with a grain of salt. It's not so much like it may be a negative for us, but like it's also giving other people, a chance to be discovered and things like that too. Or I've heard of a lot of new channels that I never knew of before. That kind of surfaced through Among Us. So, with everything, there's highs and lows on both sides. We just kind of want to put these thoughts out here because we haven't really seen. I mean, there's murmuring in discords about like people having issues similar to this. So we figured, might as well put the thoughts out there, see if it helps anyone else, see if anyone else is like, oh yeah, that's happening to me too. Because then maybe we won't appear so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone that I've talked to that is in the same sphere as us has kind of had like the same problem, or they've just been like super stagnant. So
yeah, let us know your thoughts. And go ahead.
I was going to say I'm checking when around this is going to be uploaded if it's going to be around Christmas time, and then I can say Merry Christmas. But it could be going out like January 2nd for all I know. So let me just check. Okay,
it
might be around Christmas time.
Earlier.
Happy belated Christmas.
Happy early or belated Christmas.
Or on Christmas. Let's upload this on Christmas
Halloween.
Day. Next Halloween.
If you're watching this on October, happy Halloween.
You have a time machine.
If you're watching this on November 23rd, 2025, let us know in 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sick.
The iconic episode 29 of Minus Cast is now coming to a close. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all soon.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.